All right. So yesterday you were introduced to the elimination method. So why was it called elimination? You're eliminating a variable, right? Did it always have to be the y? No. Sometimes you can eliminate the x as well, whichever one is easier. There's no right or wrong. It's going to be your choice, okay? So put right here, eliminate means you're going to eliminate one of your variables. Now, when you eliminate a variable, the coefficients, that means the numbers next to those letters, have to form a zero pair. What does that mean? And how do they cancel out? Very good. You'll have to have one positive and one negative, okay? So just to kind of review zero pairs, we're going to look at these right here and determine if they are zero pairs or what is it that we need to create a zero pair. So -8 plus 8, is that a zero pair? Yes, that equals 0. How about 1 plus a -1? Yes, very good. 5 plus -5? Yes. Now, if I have a 19, what do I have to add to it to become a zero pair? -19. If I have a -2, what do I add to it? A +2. And if I have a +7? -7. Now, is 5 plus 5 a zero pair? No, right? How about 8 plus 8? No. How about a -10 minus 10? No. Okay, so this is the confusing one for students, but really you have a -10 and another -10. So no, they're both negatives. You got to have one negative, one positive. Okay, so you know what a zero pair is. So let's start with some easy questions. Look at example 1. Look at your system. Look at your variables, and is there one that already creates a zero pair? The y's, right? So we don't even have to multiply by anything. Okay, it's ready to go. So I'm going to circle these because I have a positive y and a negative y. That's gone. And then I'm going to combine whatever I have left. Now let me zoom it in real quick. So 2x equals what? 9, right? And if I divide by 2, what's 9 divided by 2? About 4.5. Very good, 4.5. Then you get to plug in that x value in any one of the equations that you want so that you can solve for the y. So which one do you want to use? The top one? So I'm going to use the x plus y equals 7. And I know that x is now a 4.5. So I plug it in, and now I solve for y. So what's my first step? Minus 4.5. Y equals, and let's think about money. If you have $7 and you spend $4.50, what are you left with? 2.5. So what is the solution to the system? Very good. This is exactly the ordered pair that they're going to cross at. If you were to graph them yourself, that's what you were going to see, except it's going to be hard to see decimals when you graph, so that's why it's important to know a different method, okay? Questions on 1? No? Okay. Go to number 2. Look at your variables and tell me if we have a zero pair. No, right? Almost. For who? For the 2's, right? We at least already have the same numbers. We just need to have one positive and one negative because both of them are negative. So what do? Multiply by -1. So basically it's changing the sign of all of them for one of the equations. So which equation do you want to do that to? The bottom one? All right. So I'm going to leave the top alone. So I'm going to write it right here. 6x minus 2y equals 4. And down here, a -1 times a 4x is going to become -4x. -1 times -2y, positive 2y. And -1 times 2 is -2. One careless mistake that occurs every year is that students always forget to multiply the answer. And then once you do that, everything's going to be wrong. Okay? So there's your zero pair. And how many x's do you have left? 2x equals to 2. And then you divide by 2, x equals 1. Now, which equation do you want? The which one? Bottom? So I'm going to get 4 times, now that I know x is a 1, plug it in, minus 2y equals 2. What's 4 times 1? Minus 2y equals 2. And solve for y, the first step would be to subtract 4. So I have negative 2y is equal to negative 2. And then what's negative 2 divided by itself? 1. So the solution set is 1, 1, right? That's where they're going to cross if you were to graph them. Questions there? No? When you just want to change the sign? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Look at number 3. Do I have a 0 pair already? Yes. Who? The y's. I have a negative and a positive 3, so gone. So then just combine your x's. What's 2x plus 2x? Equals 20. Good. And divided by 4? 5. And now I get to plug in that 5, whichever equation you want. Which one do you want to use? Bottom. So 2 times 5 plus 3y equals 4. And what is 2 times 5? 10. Plus 3y equals 4. Then subtract 10. 3y equals negative 6. Good. And then if I divide both sides by a 3, negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. Giving me the solution is? Good. Now sometimes on the STAR test, they'll give you a question like that, but then it'll be a griddable. And the question will be like, bubble in the x value of the solution. So then you bubble in the 5. Bubble in the y value. You bubble in the negative 2. Okay, that's how it's been tested in the past as well. All right, look at number 4. Look at your system and determine which variable you want to eliminate. The x's, okay, because I already have the same number, right? All I need to worry about is making one negative. So who do you want to multiply by a negative 1? The bottom. So the top will remain the same, 3x plus 4y equals 10. The bottom one will now be what? Good. So your x's cancel. 4 minus 2y is 2y equals, what's 10 minus 8? 2. And if you divide by 2, y equals 1. And it's important to put the letter, the variable y equals 1, because right now when we plug it in, some students are plugging in the 1 on the wrong spot. Okay, so which equation do you want to use? Top. So 3x plus 4 times 1 equals 10. I know that 4 times 1 is 4, so 3x plus 4 equals 10, and I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. So 3x is equal to what? 6. And then divide by 3, and x equals 2. So my solution is 2, 1. Questions on those so far? Okay. Let's go to the next page. Look at your variables. First determine who do you want to cancel. The x's, okay, so when you say the x's, once you make up your mind, what I would do is you want to cancel the x's, so I'm going to look at the 3 since it's smaller, And I'm going to ask myself, is there anything I can multiply it by to make it a 6? 2. Okay. So then I'm going to multiply just the top by 2. And I'm going to rewrite it down here. So what's 2 times negative 3x? What's 2 times a positive 5y? And 2 times 24? 48. Now I'm going to look at them again, and I'm going to ask myself, can I cancel the x's already? Do I have a positive and a negative? Yeah, right? So I've already created a 0 pair. Now I need to combine my y. So what's negative 3 plus 10? 7y. And what's a 15 and 48? How much? 63? 63. And divided by 7? 9. Good. Now we're going to take that 9, plug it in on the y. Which equation do you want to use? Bottom? So I'm going to do 6x minus 3 times 9 equals 15. And I'm going to take that minus and give it to that 3, so making it like a negative 3. What's negative 3 times 9? So I'm going to put minus 27 equals 15. Then what? Add 27 to both sides. So 6x equals 2, 42. And then divide by 6. Good. So the solution, 7, 9. And when in doubt, you could take this 7 and plug it in for the x here and do negative 3 times 7. And then you can take this 9 and do plus 5 times 9. And then combine it to see if it's giving you 24. And then do the same thing on the bottom. And it's got to work for both. Okay? Questions on that first one? All right, look at example 2. First, make the decision. Who do you want to cancel? The x, okay, so I'm going to look at the smaller. That's always the first step you should do. Look at the smaller number, the 3, and ask yourself, can I change it to a 6? Multiply by, well, 2 first of all, right? But then, since I have them right now, both numbers are positive and positive, I know that one of them has to be negative, so then yes, it's going to be a negative 2, okay? Because you need one positive and one negative. So if I do that, what does it become? Good. So I'm no longer going to look at this one. I have my 0 pair with the positive 6 and the negative 6, so that's gone. And I'm going to combine my y's. So what's 12y minus 10y? 2y equals, what's negative 12 and a 6? Divided by 2? Negative 3. Which equation do you want to use? The bottom one? The bottom one original, bottom one new, because you got options. Okay, so I'm going to take the 3x plus 5 times negative 3 equals negative 3. So I took the original. What's 5 times negative 3? Good, so 3x minus 15 equals negative 3. Let's solve for x by adding 15. So 3x equals 12, and then divided by 3, 4. Solution, 4 comma negative 3. Questions? Okay, go to number 3. Who do we want to cancel? The y's, okay? And there's no right or wrong, okay? For those of you that want to cancel, for example, the x's, you're going to notice, can the 3 be multiplied and be made a 4? No. So when that answer is no, then you're going to have to do the multiply the top by the 4 and the bottom by the 3. That's when you do that, okay? But you guys said, let's cancel the y's. Okay, so if we want to cancel the y's, I need to go to the smaller number, 10, and ask myself if I can change it to a 40. Multiply by 4. So then when you do that, when you cancel your y's, okay, we didn't have to multiply both numbers like we would have had we canceled the x's. So either way, you're going to get to the same answer, but it might require you a little bit more work. Okay, so you always want to kind of analyze both variables and see which one's the best one. So if I change that, what's it going to become? Good. I have a positive 40 and a negative 40, so perfect. And I'm going to combine 4x plus 12x is 16x equals, what is 20 minus 100? Negative 80. And then divided by 16. Negative 5. Good. So x is a negative 5. Which equation do you want to use? Bottom one? Okay, so 4 times negative 5 plus 40y equals 20. What's 4 times negative 5? Negative 20. Then what do I have to do? Add 20 to both sides. So I'm going to end up with 40y is equal to 40, right? And I'm going to divide both sides by 40. So what's the value of y? 1. Giving me the solution of negative 5, 1. Very good. Questions? Okay. Number 4. Who do you want to cancel? The x, okay. So my smaller coefficient, if I just look at the actual coefficient, not the signs, is the imaginary 1 there. So you have to ask yourself, can the 1 be changed to a 3? Times what? Times 3, right? So that means I just need to multiply the bottom times 3. So what's 3 times 1? 3x. 3 times negative 5, negative 15y equals to negative 30. So I created a 0 pair because I already have a negative and a positive, so I don't have to worry about having to multiply by a negative 1. The signs are perfect. So a negative 3x is going to cancel with a positive 3x. Gone. How many y's do you have left? 2y minus 15y. Negative what? Negative 13y equals 17 minus 30, negative 13. So negative 13 divided by itself, 1. So the y is a 1. Then pick an equation. Which one do you want? The bottom one? Bottom new or bottom original? Original. So I'm going to take the 1x minus 5 times 1 equals negative 10. A negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. Now I'm going to solve for x by simply adding 5 to both sides. So x equals negative 5. Solution set, negative 5, 1. There you go. Questions on that one? Okay, turn it to the back. Now pick one more to do, and then you're going to work with the people you're sitting around to do the other 2 so that I can see that you're getting it before I give you your assignment. So which one from the back do you want to do? 1, 2, or 3? 3? Okay. So if I look at example 3, there's the system. Who do I want to cancel? And here you just have to like make your choice. Who do you want to cancel? That's it. Because I can't change the 4 to a 7. I can't change the 8 to a 9. So I'm going to be stuck having to do the little cross thing. Okay, so you want to cancel the x's? Okay. So if I want to cancel the x's, and since I cannot multiply the 4 to make it a 7, then I'm stuck doing this. You take the 4, put it up here. You take the 7, put it down here. And then you have to think about this. You see how they're both negative right now? You need one of them to be positive. So now you have to decide who do you want to put a negative on, the 4 or the 7. It doesn't matter, but one of them you have to put a negative. The 7? There it is. Okay? Because if I just leave them as 4 and 7s, then I'm still going to end up with negative 28x, and over here still negative 28x. I'm going to end up having to change the sign later on, so might as well do it now. Okay? So let's rewrite our new system. What is 4 times negative 7x? Okay. Good. And then on the bottom, minus 63y equals positive what? 154? Good. Do you have the zero pair? Yes. Now, what's a negative 32y and another negative 63y? Negative 95y equals, what's 36 plus 154? 190. And then I'm going to solve by simply dividing both sides by a negative 95. So how much is y? Positive or negative? Negative 2. Good. All right, so y is a negative 2. Pick an equation. And I'm going to use the original bottom just so that we're dealing with the smaller numbers. So negative 4x plus 9 times negative 2 equals negative 22. What is 9 times negative 2? So I'm going to put negative 4x minus 18 equals negative 22. Then what do? Plus 18. So negative 4x is equal to negative 4. And then divide by negative 4 on both sides. X equals 1. Solution? 1, negative 2. All right. All right, so I want you to do example 1 and 2 with the people that you're sitting next to, and then show me that you're getting it right. And then you're going to take this paper, and you're going to glue it flat completely on the next page. Okay, and it's a maze. So you're going to start here, but notice how some of them, the zero pair is already given. So it's not like you're having to do a lot of work on this maze, okay? It's just the practice. So you'll go through the maze, and then you should finish down here, okay? Questions? All right, so get started.